today we've got a special guest, and we get to talk to an entrepreneur that's doing amazing things, an entrepreneur that's adding value to small businesses in a space where many are struggling. I want Witness to give us the profile of this amazing lady. I was listening to some of the work that she's doing, and it's quite inspiring. I know she's already laughing and smiling. You look fired up. I can't wait to hear what you have to say today. Witness, go ahead.
Obviously, this evening we've got Keke Moloto. She's a young businesswoman. She's a marketing strategist, online marketing trainer, founder of Jedi Marketing, a strategic consultancy based in Johannesburg. She has an academic background in marketing management, a BCom that is, and serves as a marketing consultant to business leaders, assisting them in streamlining and optimizing their marketing approaches for optimal results. Keke is featured as a guest trainer on various marketing platforms, including IBASA, Institute of Business Advisors, and served as co-host of the annual State of Marketing event alongside marketing veteran Tony Sham. Wow, incredible. Okay. And maybe let me speak to also read here, because I see that it says, upon identifying an oversaturation of marketing agencies in South Africa, with very few investing the necessary time and resources into going deep with clients in order to fully understand and serve their unique and intricate needs, Keke founded Jedi Marketing for purposes of bridging that gap. Her mission is to help individuals and organizations build brand equity and increase market share through thought leadership and lead generating strategies that translate into valuable business relationships. Jedi Marketing is commonly known and loved by clients for their passion for seeing them succeed through the creation and implementation of people-centric and results-oriented marketing strategies.
What an introduction. It's a mouthful.
Keke, is that you? I look at the profile, I look at her, and I go, you look young for this profile.
But she hasn't opened her mouth to speak, and I already want to be a customer.
Amazing, isn't it? It's like the profile speaks for her on your behalf.
Volumes. Keke, how are you?
I'm well, thanks so much for having me.
Wonderful to have you. So tell us, how did this all start for you? This is amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. So this started in 2016. I was working in events and marketing management, and I left my job very suddenly. Story for another day. Very, very suddenly. I was still younger at the time, still living at home. So it was a bit of a safer jump, but I had no idea what I wanted to do afterwards. I knew that I was very, very passionate about marketing, so I thought I'm going to look for a corporate job in marketing. And what ended up happening was I left the company, and there was a marketing agency that was working with the company I used to work with. And because I used to actually, even when I was in that company, I used to do some of their job for them, even though they hired us, because I love marketing so much. And they called me and said, listen, we need someone to do some social media writing for us. And that was actually my first client. So I actually stumbled into this business. It's not something that I planned. Yes. And from then on, I would do some part-time work with them on a freelance basis. And then I identified other clients who required social media marketing and writing, because that's where I started. We started as a social media agency and evolving to what we are today.
Interesting. Let me take you to where you were starting with the one client, inexperienced, and as you're saying, stumbled into it.
Yes.
What was the challenge like for you in coming up with the price? Because pricing is a big issue for small businesses starting up.
You guys like money.
You
always asking that question.
Of course.
No revenue, no business.
No, it's such a good question, because I definitely believe that I undercharged a lot in the beginning, but I also utilized that as an opportunity to learn. You know, I personally would rather, undercharge and over-deliver, especially when I'm so new to it. I don't really have much of a track record besides my qualification and the bit of marketing I did in my previous job. So those clients were also giving me experience, which serves me today. So just to go back to your question, how did I manage the pricing? I honestly just asked other people who were working, in the industry, what would they charge, and I worked based off of that. But I wouldn't say I got it right. I just based it off of perception, and I also charged an hourly rate.
But it was still a good benchmarking. I mean, I think that's how most of us do it.
Yeah.
You just check the market and what they're charging. And you position yourself and saying, this is how I'm going to determine I'm going to price my product. So,
it's what most people are doing, and she's saying it's what most people should not be doing.
So which begs the question though, Keke, are you still doing that? Do you still benchmark against industry? Or do you design
record? You set the price.
Now I do. And I'm not going to lie. We're not cheap now, but it really is because of how much thought and effort we put into the marketing we do. We've even partnered with so many other agencies, and we've just realized that there is so much value that we bring to each client and so much attentiveness that is very hard to replicate. So we don't. What was your question again, Witness? Just repeat it.
I was asking if you still charge the way you used to use
no,
benchmark.
Now we charge based on value. So we see how is the service going to be of value to your company and for what period, and we charge based on that value.
So now you're the benchmark.
Exactly.
I hope so.
Alright, so how has the experience been for you since you got your model right, got the few clients coming in, and the business is growing? Because it's a journey as an entrepreneur, and it comes with its own challenges.
So how has my experience been through the growth process? Is that what you're asking me? It's been good, but there also have been not so good moments. So I would say that my experience was, I don't think I had a lot of trouble with attracting clients. I think I was very blessed in that regard. My hardest part was actually people, getting the right people on my team to assist me. That was the hardest part. You'd never expect that. You think the hardest part is actually opening a business and giving the clients. If you do excellent work and if you really care about giving results to clients, clients come to you. Clients refer other people. That's always happened for us in a very natural and organic way. But I think for me, my challenge was not being very wise in hiring decisions.
So can you get into examples of that? Not being wise in hiring decisions?
So, so I would say that in the beginning, my first hire was actually an ex-colleague and a friend. That one wasn't bad. Yes, no, but honestly, it wasn't a bad working experience. I think she actually served such a pivotal role in the business. Even to this day, I absolutely appreciate the work she did for the company. I believe she actually did work very hard. And I also had that benefit of having worked with her previously. So at least I knew that she has work ethic. She did end up leaving, very long story, and I think the ending wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. The thing is, I always had it in my mind that whoever I work with, I'm always, it's going to stay for the long run, and it's going to become a partner in the business, a director. Expectations. So that was the first one, and the next person I actually brought upon is who is my business partner today. So this one was actually a friend, actually one of my best friends. And it worked out. But reason being is there also was a testing period. So how that came about was I would chat to her about my business. She was in a company, unhappy. She actually worked in interior design, not even in marketing. But each time we'd chat, she'd give me strategic ideas for my clients. So she'd be consulting me, and I was like, wow. I need you. Yes. and because we both really loved like self-development and reading books. She was also like, I remember she was like a really good writer as well. So I thought, man, you can do social media writing. You can write some emails. And then she took that on as a side hustle. And after about a year and a half of doing that, we decided it was a process, but she left the job that she was at and came and joined me full-time at Jedi Marketing, and from there we skyrocketed.
Nice.
Like her and I together, it really just was like fireworks. But then the next hires after that didn't go so well, because I think because of that good experience that I had, I thought other experiences would be like that. So I think I didn't do like the necessary due diligence for future hires, and I think that's been the biggest setback for my business, because bringing the wrong person in causes so much damage to your operations, your culture, and it takes some time to revive that.
Have you thought about outsourcing some of your shared services, like maybe your maybe hiring HR services somewhere else, or are you doing everything?
So I'm not ready to do that as yet. I mean, we're still very small, like actually at this moment it's myself and my business partner, and obviously service providers for other aspects that we need, but I still want to be very close to the process. And I know that a lot of people will utilize recruitment agencies, but I need a specific type of character, so I'm still working that out. I
can see myself every time I'm like, I want to see everybody we are hiring. I'm also like you. I want to get the feel of who's coming.
Yes.
So would you say then with outsourcing all other services the business provides, that works? Because with hiring you can sit and say, I want to see the character of the person, but with outsourcing, that company that you're outsourcing to can just decide, listen, we've got a new accounts manager, you're dealing with this person, and the person you were dealing with last week
it's got there.
It's gone to another company or something.
I hear you. So what we do with the outsourcing, we try not to outsource our core business, our core competencies. So when it comes to strategy, when it comes to like the digital lead generation, we still keep that internal because we know we do that excellent. But we have clients like a one-stop shop. So they like someone, and because they really know, like, and trust us, it's better for us if they say that we want web development. Then we've developed a relationship with web developers who we've known for like 4 years now, and we know that they deliver really well. So because early in my business, I actually worked in a co-working space with a lot of other small businesses, I was able to make those relationships.
Nice.
But outsourcing has been difficult in other aspects. I mean, we actually had a situation very recently where we referred one of our clients for like a PR agency, and it didn't really go as planned. We didn't know the business well enough, but it didn't go as planned. So we've also learned to just be a bit more careful, because not all businesses operate with the same standard of excellence.
True.
So it also requires due diligence.
And sometimes they don't even share the same values as you, which is quite tricky.
Yes.
So take us through what you do for small businesses. I'm sure someone listening is thinking, okay, she sounds amazing.
She's amazing.
Speaking excellence, lead gen optimization, all this big English. What is it that you do for small businesses?
Okay, so when we say small businesses,
let's say your clients. Maybe you
small business is 50 million turnover and below.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
Well, the numbers make sense. You say 50 million.
Big business is 50 million and above.
So the services we provide are, I would say, number one, brand and strategy development. You have to start at strategy. Everyone knows that. I don't even need to elaborate. And then the second pillar is digital lead generation. So I told you that we started off as a social media marketing agency. What I realized is that some marketing can get very fluffy. You can say you want social media marketing, you're posting, it's not really going anywhere. There needs to be a lot of intentionality regarding what you are doing, especially if you are parting with budget. So we found lead generation to be very effective, but also lead nurturing. So taking people, getting leads off of social media through ads, or even we utilize LinkedIn. We're actually very LinkedIn heavy. And then once you have that lead, bringing them into a marketing funnel, doing lead nurturing, which is communicating and building a relationship with them via email. And for some clients, we've actually even gone as far as doing live events for them. We actually still do that. And then the third part is, so I mentioned the lead gen, I mentioned the strategy. And training and workshops, teaching. So so teaching. So sometimes a company will say to us, we want you to train our marketing team on digital marketing management, and we are able to do that, or thought leadership marketing, we'll do that, or even small business owners. So there was a time, I don't do it anymore, but I used to run workshops for small businesses, teaching them how to do it themselves. Especially especially micro don't have the budget to hire. So just teaching them the nitty-gritties of how to set up advertising in a way that's going to be profitable for their businesses.
Okay, so I've been listening to big English words. So if I'm Sego and I'm starting something, I don't even know what I want. All I know is that I have 500,000, I'm starting this business, and so far I've been selling this constantly, this constant income. So how do you help me? Because sometimes we don't even really know how, we just know marketing. We're gonna market.
But the
the limit is too high.
So what I find with a lot of startups is some people bring on marketing very prematurely. I think sometimes, are you marketing ready? I think there's a stage of your business where you just need to be doing business development and not necessarily, it depends what type of a business you're running. Obviously, if you're running an online store.
So business development, you mean sales?
Sales,
getting clients in.
Yes,
okay.
Because if you're going to get a good marketing agency, you are going to have to part with budget. If you don't have budget, it's going to be very hard to get a good service that's going to give you tangible results.
Okay. So does marketing, obviously, not a lot of people listening to you now understand what marketing is exactly. And I see why Sego asked that question.
Let's
simplify
because
a lot of people confuse marketing and advertising, and they confuse it with business development, like what you were saying. And they think that if I've got a marketing budget, let's say 200,000 rands or 20,000 or 5,000, that would automatically direct into sales of X amount. Now, can you provide clarity in terms of what marketing really does for a business and for clients, so that they understand that if I'm coming in, if you are coming in as a marketing company, you are there building a campaign. But the campaign is only to bring clients to know about you so that you can do the business development. But people don't really know about it. So can you provide some clarity around that?
Okay. Yeah, so marketing, there's a clear distinction between marketing and sales, right? Marketing does involve advertising though.
Yeah.
It does. But, the point of marketing is to reach, find where your target audience congregates and find a way to reach them and find a way to speak to them. And basically the role of marketing is to bring in those leads, which can be handed over to the sales team. So there's two approaches. There's
I like your answers. You just can't escape the lingo.
Oh. Really?
Do you think that lingo is important?
Yes.
Very important lingo.
Okay. I think it's maybe how I naturally communicate it. So you can just let me know if I need to tone it down.
No, it's okay.
So startups need to look more at lead generation. If startups are going to do marketing, it needs to be lead generating. I think the bigger the business is, the more they'll focus on the brand equity side of it, which is more of the awareness. But if you're right at the beginning stages, then you are looking at the lead gen, and the role of that is to get the email address, get people aware of what you do, and then you hand over that to the sales team. The sales team now will do the proper job of selling the business. Yes.
Can I ask you just also a late question? Is advertising on Facebook part of lead generation?
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to bring it to that level. Okay.
But on the Facebook page, not on your personal profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a difference between the two.
Do you ever get situations where you've done the work, you spent the budget, you brought the leads, but the client is not converting, and it's not down to you not being unable to bring the traffic. You brought the traffic, but the client
Yes.
is just not closing.
Yes.
And
But
how do you navigate waters around that?
I mean, that's not our fault. You know, like, you know,
Straight answer.
It was
You
very
can-
fast.
yeah, you know, you've paid us for what you hired us to do. So that really is up to the client. But it's also good. I mean, the more leads, the better. So whenever the sales team is ready to convert them, then they'll be ready to convert them. But we've never really come across that issue of a client not utilizing the leads we've brought them. So I don't even know how that would pan
Is
out.
there an element of pre-qualifying clients before you do campaigns for them to see that if we do bring the traffic, do they have a good product in the first place?
Yeah, that is very, very important. So my business partner and I like to say that we want to choose our clients as much as they choose us.
Okay.
You know, to see if there is alignment between what it is you're looking for and what it is we can provide.
Yeah.
And, you know, is your business marketing ready? Sometimes people think marketing is the problem, but there's actually internal operations in the business that need help before marketing can even come in and try to solve the problem.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, with one client whom we started just doing social media for them, and our business relationship has evolved into so much. But through working with them, we actually discovered that, first we need to go back to branding and we need to go back to marketing strategy. So we ended up doing a whole marketing and brand strategy and, you know, starting with emails. So we will identify those gaps, you know, because even for us, we are very passionate about our clients succeeding. And
Okay.
even if you come to us for a specific service, if that service is not a right fit, we will recommend something different. And even if it's not of benefit to us, we don't want to take your money if we're not confident that we can deliver what it is you require.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, have you ever come across, obviously I go on social media and sometimes I see certain branding of companies or maybe a website that is so dull.
Yeah.
So if I'm a company and you coming to provide that service, are you also sometimes able to advise me to say, actually your website is not interactive or whatever, we can assist you? Are you able also to assist companies with such things like website development and stuff?
So yes, we'll obviously the execution of it will be with our website development partners. You know, we're not going to do it ourselves internally, but we will do that because before you even develop the website, it has to align. Do you even have a marketing strategy? Because that website needs to align with the marketing strategy. You know, and then obviously then there'd be a content strategy. How will that content strategy be incorporated into your website? We have to look at the copywriting. So before we even get to the development, there's an entire strategic process that has to happen. So we can do that, but it's a big project as well.
Okay.
But I mean, for people who are starting up, maybe it's not as complicated. I know when I built my own website, which I did myself, I just went on WordPress, did a WordPress template, just, you know, put something together so that people could see that this is a running business. And over time, you know, because sometimes we also focus so much on perfection. You know, sometimes we focus so much on perfection. There's actually this entrepreneur, and he's a podcaster as well. I don't know if you guys know him. His name is Tim Ferriss. And he says, if your first version of a product is like perfect, like your launch is perfect, then you've launched too late.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes, you know, like just go and you'll iterate as you.
So how important is that for business people or entrepreneurs, young and old, to start even if it's not perfect?
Okay. I have to also acknowledge my personality, and I realize that as entrepreneurs, we have different personalities. So sometimes I also tend to communicate like the way I do things is right, but it may not be suited to other personalities. But personally, I believe that you have to test something out. You have to test, is someone going to pay for what I'm offering? Sometimes you can develop this whole thought process and this whole product or operation, and then you take it to market and no one buys it. So I think you have to just like put yourself out there and learn as you go along. Take feedback from the market, and how are you going to get that feedback if you haven't launched?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I also wanted to ask you, obviously we are on social media. I know I get frustrated when I see an advert and I reply on it and I don't get the answer immediately. so could you maybe advise companies, because I get so frustrated. I literally could just move from your company to another, because I see a lot of them going on Facebook, on obviously social media, and they never reply on time.
She's a very fussy buyer.
Oh really?
Yes.
And
Because
there's
that's
plenty
the
of
other thing.
Segos out there.
Yeah. So the importance of saying, if you're on social media, you're going to advertise there. The importance of always be able to answer quickly, because that's what we expect.
Yeah.
Like the downside of, if you want to go there, these are the repercussions of it. Maybe advice on that.
Yeah. Also, depending on if you're selling something online, you have to have a quick response time. That is vital. Online shops, you have to. If it's more service-based business, I think there is a bit of a grace period, but it wouldn't, more than 24 hours I think is too much.
Yeah.
Have you ever came across a company that has that problem? Because I was frustrated about something. I was trying to do a solar thing, and I was trying to request a code for solar, and it took almost a week. Somebody just
What?
said, yeah.
Oh
said,
no, that's out of order.
And I was like, do they ever get told this? You have to
So
answer
it means
time?
the salespeople are slaggy.
Yeah.
Remember what you said? Wait, I think, does it not go back to what you were saying? That you
Yes.
could do an entire marketing campaign
Mm-hmm.
and get the product into into people's eyes and
And not
mouths.
be ready.
But the sales team is just not ready to convert.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you've never come across that, like, company like that are struggling to make money just because they're not responding on time, or they're not following their leads. Okay, the ones
I haven't come across that.
Or is it part of what you do for your clients? You coach them on follow-up procedures and
On
all
leads.
of those things.
Nice.
We do. I mean, most of the time with our clients, we would do it for them.
Okay.
Because obviously, if you're not doing it, you don't have the time to do it. So hire someone, just invest that amount. Even if it's a virtual assistant, if they don't want to outsource it, but hire someone to do it.
How much would that cost the client? I mean,
I knew it was coming.
I always ask this.
I have been waiting. How much?
Yeah, because if you're gonna manage a business's entire, let's say, sales development
Okay.
process, like they click, it comes to you, you manage that on their behalf, and then you say, here's the client.
Yeah.
How much is that?
No, you mean the sales development? I thought we're talking about the process of answering questions
The
and
response
queries,
time.
Or
community
responding.
management. That's what
Yes,
we
yes.
Not the sales process. We don't get involved in that.
Okay, you just manage responding on time. Where in the inbox or
Yes.
or in the inbox on the
Inbox,
website?
comments. Yes.
Comments. Okay, cool.
So for a good strategy, a marketing strategy to work, which departments are key? Like, I know you spoke about communication, you spoke about sales. Just put maybe perspective.
Oh, that's such a good question.
Mhm.
It's such a good question, because sometimes companies think that marketing works in like silos, like it's just this
Isolation,
isolated department,
yes,
and
yes,
there always
yes.
has to be alignment and synergy between marketing and sales.
Yeah.
There always has to be, because you have to understand what it is the sales team wants to achieve for the marketing to work together. So we found that, so even with our clients, maybe more like the medium-sized clients, before even developing a marketing strategy, we have to speak to the sales team, we have to speak to the business development team. There has to be that alignment. So,
Okay.
and even if you have access to the even directors, people who see the vision, the bigger picture and the vision of the company, where it's going. It's important, as many people as possible. Because what I realize is marketing affects so many people and areas in the organization. So it should never be its own standard.
No marketing.
Really everything.
No sales,
Yeah.
no sales, no
No
income, no
yeah.
income, no salaries.
No money.
So even HR doesn't exist anymore.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you, in my past life, I was shocked to one time somebody said, I'm working in communications, I'm not in marketing.
Okay.
What is the difference?
Or there could be PR.
Yeah, PR. I was so shocked. I thought everything else was there.
PR, internal communications. I'm also not very well versed on. That's why, like as I mentioned, when I kind of needed PR, I was like, we'll find you a PR person. We're not going to do it ourselves.
Also, PR is something that you outsource.
Yes.
But there's something you've been speaking big of, and that's branding and brand development, brand strategy. What's the value of that to businesses? Because when you speak in that language, for many, it's something that's fuzzy, many business owners, and all they hear is spend money, and marketing for many businesses is like an expense item. They see it as an expense. So a painful one which many would like to spend as little as possible. Yeah.
If you're a startup, spend as little as possible on branding. That's my advice. Like the branding is more for, in our experience, the branding is also more for the more established companies. So when I branded my company, literally, I did a logo on PowerPoint. Because your brand is formed by
when you were starting up.
When I was starting up.
Yeah.
Because your brand is formed by how the clients view and value you. That's going to be your brand early on. It's going to be how you deliver, whether you provide the solutions that the client is looking for. They're going to become your mouthpiece, your spokesperson. So as long as you actually have something in place, I know that there are a lot of companies, even on websites like Fiverr, where you can get people to design logos and business cards for you. Just get the main things that will show that I actually am a business, but don't invest too much time and too much money until you actually are established, because I think there are other priorities.
So for small businesses, then what would be the priority in your case?
For small businesses, for startups. So for startups, it would definitely be get a logo, get a website, or at the very least a landing page, business cards, social media pages if you're in an industry that requires that, so that people can see that you are a valid and running business.
So the having a website, obviously I was also shocked that you have to pay for hosting.
Yes.
Do you perhaps have maybe an idea how much it is of the process, maybe just to tell the listeners?
Yes, let me try and recall. Probably for the domain, for .co.za domain, you'll pay about 90 Rand a year just to buy the domain. If it's a .com, maybe about 250 if I'm not mistaken.
How cheap it is.
It's so cheap. And then hosting, you get people who start at 50 Rand a month to do your hosting for you. Yeah.
So companies don't have excuses now. Don't have excuses.
No.
And then there's the development of the website.
Yeah.
Which you said you can do yourself.
Do yourself in the beginning.
It won't look so nice.
So you worry about the niceness later.
So another question is, when you started, obviously you were looking for companies. Like in a business development, you said that's the main thing.
Yes.
What was the strategy? How did you go about it?
Well, that's a good question, because she was a business herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
She said it was easy for her.
But you know what? Because I really was blessed. To this day, I haven't done a lot of business development because people have come to us, and this is why. With that first client, give them the most amazing service. Like when you start a business, I know I'm going off point a bit, but I really believe I need to mention this. A lot of people like the idea of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is basically you seeing that there's a need in the market that you really want to solve. It's not about you being an entrepreneur and running a business. Sometimes we think more about ourselves. You need to think about who is the segment of people that I want to serve, and how am I going to solve that problem for them, and really feel like a deep need for that. Do you know that? Because I think when you go into that, there's that Maya Angelou quote that says people forget what you did and said, but they never forget how you make them feel. When people feel valued, when people know that you're in this for them, not just for your own self and profitability, then I'm not just like you will flourish. You will flourish, and I think that's what's been so beneficial, like for us as a business. Because our clients know that we care. We won't overcharge if it doesn't make sense to. We won't offer you a service just because we want money if you don't require the service. You know,
Very
we're very
important,
fair.
yeah.
Like our main priority is to see you achieve your goals. So that's the one thing I wanted to mention. So can we go back to what you were asking? What did you ask again?
You did actually answer it.
You did actually,
because what you're saying is that you provide value,
Yes.
and the value actually attracts the clients.
Yes.
And ultimately you make the money anyway. So how important is it for startups to focus on the value? I know you answered it partially, but I think it's something that I want you to go deeper on, because a lot of people don't realize entrepreneurship is exactly that. What's the problem? How big is it? And can I
Yes.
solve it?
Yes.
Better
Yeah.
than
Anyone else? You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
How important is it to provide value?
You
rather
don't
than
have
focus
a
on the
At
money?
high
no.
At the high
You
level.
don't
Yeah.
have. I don't think you have a business if you're not focused on value. I just think that's the bread and butter of your business, the value that you provide to people. Someone once said to me, you need to put yourself in a position that the client can't live without you, can't live without your service. You know what I mean? So find that sweet spot. Find what is it that the client can do. And this was what made us veer away. You know, in the beginning we were doing like social media posts for clients and blogging, and we're like, if the economy takes a downturn, the first thing that they're going to cut is social media, because it's a nice to have. So find like those core areas that people need, that you have the skill to provide and solve in a way that they can't live without.
True.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I'm also gonna tell you a story. So when I was deciding on which company I was gonna go to, I liked one guy who went in detail to explain to me the different, like, this is a 5 kilowatt, this is, you know, explaining to me. Yes. I didn't understand. Because I find that most companies, like, they just assume that you're looking for this, I'm going to sell it to you, I want 100,000 or whatever. How important it is to communicate your value proposition as a company. Because I think he was different from everybody that I went to. He literally presented to me, and he was not the cheapest, but I like that he made me comfortable, that I can spend money on him. So from your experience, how important it is it to explain your offerings and your value proposition to make clients to be comfortable with you?
Yes, yes, and you know, you're saying two things here. You're saying he explained something to, but he actually gave you value before you even parted with any money, and I think that's important, because sometimes we can come with a value proposition and we want to use all of these nice and fancy words, but people want to know, how's this going to help me, you know? And so I do think it's important, and it goes back to what I was saying before. If people know that you care about solving their problem, that is going to be your value proposition. So sometimes we even consult people. We give them value and say, like, these are the gaps and this is how you need to solve it before they'll even pay us. And that comes with being people-centric and being people-focused. Look at what their problem is and give them consultation. So a lot of people utilize free consultation as an entry point, you know, to working with clients. And I think a lot of small business owners can really leverage that. Say, hey, this is free consultation, and that actually allows the clients to see what it is you offer and how you can solve that. Yeah.
Which is great. I like that you picked that up. That the salesperson gave value before
Yes.
even she parted with money, and it's a great thing.
Yes.
The other thing that I want to add,
Yeah.
going back to the solar business. So what I liked about this guy is that he was not the cheapest,
Okay.
and he also said to me, what you need is not what is available now. What the battery that you need. And I'm judging by what I see and how you know, like you're trying to address your need, is that it's gonna come mid August. So please wait. You know, I was so shocked. I was like, usually somebody would have just came and said, I want to take your money and this
Oh
is
my
it.
gosh, yes.
So
Yes.
for that reason,
Yes.
I'm gonna wait for mid August, and I'm gonna spend around September just for that. And like I said, it's not. So you did highlight something like that. So I was just adding to saying I agree with you.
Yes. Yes.
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned about entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur?
And your biggest failures when you
Yes. And the price.
with
She may not forget
failures.
the price.
It's coming. I want to ask. We're gonna ask. The price must be told.
Yes.
Biggest. Okay, so let me start with failures because that leads to lessons.
Yeah.
There've been so many.
You're not going
So
to
I
cry.
would say, okay, so I'm gonna speak more on like the business sense. Is a lot of like your business is like an asset of value, and sometimes you can treat it a lot like a liability. You know what I mean? And I think it's very important to understand that the business money is not your money. For me, that's been a biggest lesson because I have not been the best at financial management in my business. Like I've been very great at a lot of look how the financial guru is looking at me with those judgmental eyes.
Not even. I'm like, tell them the lesson so they can hear it.
Yeah, but for me, financial management was a big setback because when we did stumble upon hard times, I had very little to fall back on because I was spending as much as we made. You know, I really did not pay attention to the finances of the business. Yes, I did not pay attention to the business finances at all, and it really came back to bite me in a very hard way. So you have to be so smart about the financial management of your business. Also having processes in place that if people come, you know, what if you fall sick and you have to go for a week? How easy is it going to be for someone to take over? You know, even if you store files on Dropbox, I'm sure there's a free version where people can access things like when you're not there. So I would say that because I'm very much a like big picture thinker, like vision oriented. So when it comes to nitty gritties, I slack. So when it comes to like admin and, you know, financial management side, I mean, I think I'm probably like my accountant's worst client because I'm just like, I really don't like that stuff. I'm still working on it. I mean, to this day, working on being better in that regard, but you have to sort that out. So that's been, one of a failure and a lesson. The other thing is be very, very picky about who you work with, who you partner with as like service providers. And
I was
also who
picky
you
about
bring-
choosing these two.
Of course.
You know, I think it's very important to have high standards. And, you know, sometimes it's not even about people having like the greatest skills. People start somewhere. I know that I was given a shot in previous companies where I didn't know anything, but people knew that I was really passionate and that I worked hard. So if you have someone, I think it's more about that, even more than their skill, more about like their mindset and just the character of the person. Make sure you're working with people who are aligned with you in that sense, and people who also have initiative themselves, not people you have to micromanage, because that has wasted a lot of my time, you know, in my business.
Okay, how much do you charge?
You know what?
Well, you don't. Obviously, every client is different.
She's gonna say
But
it
there's
depends.
that entry level,
Yes.
and there's the most one can pay for your services. So give us the entry level and the most,
I can't believe.
so that your customers are listening.
They need to know whether they can reach you. Like,
But can I tell you why it's so hard to answer this question? Because it depends on what the client, every client requires something different. If you're doing a marketing strategy, it's going to be different from if you're doing an email marketing
Let's
campaign.
say social media management
Social media management for what size business?
for corporate. We start with corporate and you do small business.
So I would say corporate, you're probably looking at a minimum of about 35K minimum.
A month.
A month,
Okay.
retainer.
A
Minimum.
Yeah.
And then you said like a small business, like a startup.
Yeah.
If someone
50
wanted
million
to.
and below 10.
Yeah, probably about 10. Yeah,
10K.
probably about
Okay.
10.
That's fair.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a fair amount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair amount.
But-
And considering the amount of value you mentioned.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a fair amount.
yes.
So there's a
And-
guy listening somewhere and thinking,
Exactly.
can I afford this lady? That question was important.
Oh, really?
Now he knows. It's 10,000. It's not free, guys. 10,000, okay?
It's like going to a supermarket and there's no price. You literally just go away and thinking, I might not be able to
To
afford
afford
this, you know?
that.
So now they can see, I can afford.
Hopefully they'll call in. How do they find you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how do they find us?
Yes.
Okay, so Jedi Marketing on all platforms, right?
GEDI.
Yes, JEDI Marketing. So we are on Instagram. We actually haven't posted in a while because we're so busy working. Yes, exactly. That's always a catch-22. You do it for other people, you don't do it for yourself. But yeah, Jedi Marketing on all platforms, and then personally, I am Keke so you can find me on Instagram. If you are an entrepreneur, I think you will benefit more from following me personally because I do speak about entrepreneurship, but especially on TikTok. I think I'm really loving the TikTok space. And by the way, guys, if you are into digital marketing, really look at TikTok. I think there are so many even established businesses that need assistance with TikTok. There is a huge opportunity there. Huge opportunity. Conversation for another day though. Yeah, but find me, Keke Moloto. I'm definitely going to be speaking more about like marketing and entrepreneurship. So yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, that was Keke Moloto, ladies and gentlemen. From myself, Witness Mutaka, Ntando and Sego, and Mr. G Venchi signing out. Have a lovely evening. Thank you guys. Cheers.
Thank you guys.